近江物語 Volume 27 Section 13 How the demon at Aki Bridge in Omi province ate somebody. Long ago, when a man named was governor of Omi province, there were several young men in the governor's office who were noted for their high spirits. Years after, people still speak of how they played Go Sugorok, went off on thousand adventures, or ate and drank together. All the time, one of them said, "In this province, we have a bridge called the Agi Bridge. In the old days, people used it, but nowadays, for some reason, no one goes over it anymore." One of them started, but the others took it up, chattering enthusiastically. But then the bravest of them spoke up, noting, in fact, no one used the Agi Bridge. "But I'll go over it. Whatever fearful demon there may be, I'll go over it riding on the fleetest horses in headquarters." At that, all the others' voices heartily approved. "Splendid!" They shouted. "Go to it! That's the shortest way." But everyone seemed to be taking the long way, true or not. "Look at the spirit he has," they cried encouragingly. While all this excitement was going on, the governor, hearing of it, said,
"What's this fuss about?"
When they gathered around him and told him, he replied,
"What a stupid thing for him to do. But as far as the horse goes, he can take it any time."
The young man replied, "It was a crazy idea, just a whim, I'm sorry." But those opposing his quitting cried,
"What nonsense! He lost his nerve!"
and urged him to go on.
"Crossing the bridge is easy enough,"
said the young man.
"But it looks as though I'm just trying to get a horse."
"Hurry up, it's getting late!" exclaimed the others. They put an easier saddle on the horse, and then were ready. The young man had doubts, but it was he who had proposed the idea. The rear end of the horse was straddled with oil. The ropes holding the saddle were tightened. The whip was fitted to his hand with a ring, and the equipage was made as right as possible. He mounted the horse. As the horse drew near the bridge, the young man felt fear gripping his heart, but he knew that it was too late to turn back. He noted with misgiving that the sun was nearing the line of the mountains. Moreover, the spot was deserted, far from any village, with no sign of smoke rising from house. Full of apprehension, he raced along toward the middle of the bridge, when far in the distance he saw a figure. That must be the demon, he thought as he eyed it nervously. It wore a light-colored robe, dark singlet, and red trousers. It covered its mouth and looked around in an indescribably pathetic manner. It was a woman. Her gaze conveyed a look of grief, as though, through no fault of her own, she had been abandoned. She was hanging onto the tall rail of the bridge, but when the young man looked at her, she assumed a look of bashful but delight. At the sight of her, the young man was about to forget everything and invite her to come up and ride beside him, or perhaps to dismount. But he told himself,
"There is no woman in a place like this. This is a demon!"
And shutting his eyes, he sped past her. The woman was expected to be spoken to, but when he rushed by without a word, she cried,
Gentlemen, you just passes me by in a place like this, and he goes off without stopping. At least take me to a village.
But it was no use. The man, frightened out of his wits, whipped the horse and flew past her, leaving her cries of echoing all around.
Just as I thought,
Said the man to himself, and he began intoning,
Cannon, save me!
and whipping his horse to greater speed. The demon, running after, tried again and again to get a grip on the horse. But because of the oil spread on, his hands kept slipping away. After the man turned to look back, he could see the demon's face, vermilion in color and round like sitting mat, and its single eye. It had 3 fingers, with claws like knives 5 inches long. Its body was bluish green in color, and its eye was amber. Its hair was in a tangle, like bramble bush, and just looking at it turned one's heart cold. An unspeakable horror. But because he kept praying to Kango, as he raced along, the young man was able to reach safety in a place where other humans were about. At that time, the demon said,
Very well, but sometime we'll meet again.
and with that, vanished from sight. The young man, groaning, feeling not himself at all, made his way back to provincial headquarters in the gathering dusk. What happened? Asked the others, but he was so faint from fear that he could not answer. As the others gathered around to reassure him, he calmed down a little. The governor, too, worried, asked what happened, and he replied with a full account.
It was stupid to begin with, and you almost lost your life,
Declared the governor, as he took charge of the horse. The young man, however, returned to his family with an air of triumph, and addressing his wife and family and the servants, told them all the fearful scenes that had happened. From that time on, however, the family began to experience various strange occurrences. Consulting an onyoji or yin-yang master about this, they were advised from that day on to exercise grave caution. Beginning that day, they shut their gate tight and observed utmost care. The man had a younger brother, his only sibling, who was employed in the office of Michinoku province. He, accompanied by their mother, was journeying to Omi province, and happened to arrive just when the family went into seclusion. When he knocked at the gate, he was told,
We are in strict seclusion. Please come back another day. Meanwhile, you can put up somewhere else.
the younger brother said,
That's absurd. It's getting late, and even if I put up somewhere else, what about the things I have brought? In case the day was inauspicious, I planned it so I'd arrive on a good day. And this elderly person with me, I'm afraid, has succumbed. So I have to announce that to you too.
The people in the house were greatly distressed at the news of the elderly parent, but they replied warily,
We are in strict seclusion.
Just quickly open the door!
was the tearful reply. The older brother was in the parlor preparing to eat, but came to the door and, weeping copiously, spoke with the visitor. The younger brother, in his black mourning garments, was weeping, and the older brother was weeping too. The wife of the latter, hiding behind the curtain, hearing the sound of weeping, wondered what was going on. Suddenly, The brothers rushed into each other's arms, making a great commotion. The wife startled and cried out.
What's happening?
The older brother, holding the younger one down, shouted,
Quick! Bring me the sword that's under the pillow!
Heavens! Are you crazy?
said the wife.
What's going on?
When she failed to bring it, he cried,
Just bring it! I'm going to kill him!
but the younger brother, managing to get on top, hurt his older brother down, bit off his head, and dancing around with it, looking in the direction of the wife and holding it up, exclaimed. His face showed the triumph he felt after having avenged the incident at the bridge. Then he vanished. With that, the wife and all the other members of the household broke into tears, but there was nothing they can do about it. A woman's wisdom is not worth counting on. They had lots of goods, horses, and so on when they looked, but there were no more than bare bones. Anyone who would take part in a stupid contest like this is an utter fool! All the people who heard that what happened brained the man. After that, there were various stories, and it appears that the demons were bested, as they are no longer heard of anymore.